Ethan made the decision to surprise his wife Clara by paying an early visit to the barn, where she usually spent her mornings, in the early light of dawn. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. What he was hoping for was a calm image of Clara tending to their horses, which was a shared interest of hers. Instead, he happened upon a sight that paralyzed him, his pulse pounding with bewilderment and shock as he stared from the shadows, unable to move. A ghostly paleness spread across Ethan's face. Clara was clearly unaware that she was being followed, as it was still early in the morning. She was even singing gently as she carried on with her careful task, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Ethan stared at her and their horse, Angel, not sure if he should address her or just walk away, holding his breath. There had to be a reason behind whatever Clara had been up to in the barn. She was a knowledgeable individual who gave their horses excellent care. A moment after Ethan had nearly completed his second cup of coffee, the kitchen door opened and he heard Clara's voice say, "Good morning, honey." There was nothing strange about her. She was acting just like she always did. They went for a ride with two of the horses after breakfast. Two of the 8 horses they owned were racehorses, Zeus and Angel. They were about to take part in another high-stakes tournament, and they had previously won amazing rewards. In an attempt to earn a second award, Clara and Ethan trained with them as frequently as they could. Ethan felt bad right away for not trusting Clara and considered telling her the truth. One evening, Ethan discovered Clara examining the horse equipment and carefully tidying the stable. In an attempt to get her to talk to him about their care, he promised to assist. To his dismay, Clara answered quickly, paying attention to her work and avoiding eye contact. Sensing that she was trying to hide, Ethan made the decision to give her room and discreetly work beside her. The impression that Clara was withholding something from him persisted. Zeus was resting down and appeared less lively than normal, which worried Ethan right away. He brought Clara over and the two of them inspected Zeus, taking his temperature and searching for any injuries. Clara sat by Zeus's side all day, petting his coat and stroking him with kind, consoling words. Ethan made the decision to completely clean the remainder of the barn in order to assist her. Ethan examined Zeus carefully and couldn't find any clear cause for his condition. One day, Ethan was cleaning the barn when he saw a closed cabinet that used to be accessible to everyone. Shrugging it off, he thought he would question her about it later, assuming that this was merely a new precautionary step to protect expensive equipment. Clara hastily rejected Ethan's mention of the cabinet during dinner, explaining that it was only for additional supplies. However, her abrupt look aside and her hurried reply caused Ethan to hesitate. While seeming satisfaction with the response, he nodded, sowing the seeds of suspicion. Conversations at home were increasingly strained and shorter as the mood became tense. Ethan discussed his worries with his friend Mike in a coffee shop the next day. Mike listened carefully as Ethan laid out the circumstances and then made the suggestion that open communication and trust were crucial. Ethan assisted Clara in guiding Angel back to their trailer as the day was coming to an end. He felt a brief twinge of anxiety as he cast a quick peek at the authorities who were still hanging about, but he shrugged it aside, preferring to concentrate on the day's successful conclusion. They started the trip home with Clara, full of ideas on how to celebrate Angel's win. Moreover, Ethan saw himself inspecting Angel's booth that same evening to make sure everything was in working condition. He saw that the lockable cabinet was open once more and that the lock had been taken out. He exhaled with satisfaction, believing that everything had returned to normal. All he had done was dream that anything was happening at all. Undoubtedly, as Ethan and Clara prepared for bed, they reflected on the day's happenings and Angel's triumph. Both of them expressed their immense pride in her and wished Zeus could compete with her in the future. Ethan and Clara's win party was cut short as morning broke when the competition authorities showed up at their house without warning. They assembled in the living room, where the authorities threw a shadow over the brightness of the morning as they began to explain the situation with solemn emotions. Ethan did not anticipate this. Ethan was shocked when the referees declared Angel's disqualification. Ethan, unable to accept the truth of the situation, pushed the officials to provide a rationale for the disqualification. He was initially confused by their use of technical language and didn't understand what they were really saying. Like Ethan's mind raced, trying to make the connections, remembering old occurrences from a fresh angle until at last everything made sense. The realization set off a series of events that took Ethan back to that early morning in the barn. It dawned on him then that there were clues, moments that ought to have alerted him. With tears flowing down her cheeks, Clara walked the living room before turning to face Ethan. She murmured, "I did it," confessing to dosing Angel. She described the intense pressure to succeed and her worries about losing all they had labored so hard to achieve. Ethan just stood there, taking in Clara's admission. He was watching Clara intently as a torrent of emotions raged inside of him, her confession exposing the rift that had grown between them. Ethan remained silent, allowing his mixed emotions to permeate the space. At last he spoke a quiet voice. He questioned, trying to ascertain Clara's intentions. Why? Clara described her anxiety over failing and the impending financial collapse. In a frantic attempt to salvage their situation, she displayed to Ethan the menacing letters from creditors. As Ethan listened, Clara's actions became clear, and the pressure cooker she had been living in became apparent. As Ethan and Clara took their seats and faced the truth of what had happened, the room became quiet. Drawing out the competition handbook, Clara pointed to the doping section and described the possible repercussions. They talked on the necessity of hiring a lawyer right away in order to get ready for the next inquiry. It was a sobering moment, the beginning of a protracted process to repair what had been damaged. The following day, Ethan and Clara made their case in front of the racing committee. With a heavy heart, Clara apologized and acknowledged her error. Ethan gave her encouragement and reaffirmed their promise to make things right. Ethan and Clara met with a consultant the following day to talk about new care and training procedures. They made sure they grasped every element by taking thorough notes and posing pointed questions. They promptly put the new guidelines into effect by making dietary, exercise, and rest schedule revisions for the horses. Their diligence and passion to taking proper care of their horses demonstrated their commitment to change. Ethan and Clara realized they had a difficult journey ahead of them as they took a seat to go over the updated care plans. They debated the benefits of returning to the racing circuit with their new philosophy and spoke about upcoming contests. They took great care while making decisions, since they understood that every action they took would help them restore their reputation. They decided to take each day as it came and put their horses' needs first. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.